What about you?
I'm doing well by the grace of God.
And your students?
Everybody is doing well.
Extremely grateful to hear. Anyway, today you are looking at you are what you eat.
Yeah.
Why this topic?
Yeah. This is an extremely important topic.
Oh, okay.
This is due to the fact that what you eat is what is going to impact your health.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you eat well, it will make you fit. It will make you healthy. So you need to eat good food.
It's very important.
Very, very important. Yeah.
All right. Our cherished viewers and the listeners are ready for you.
Okay. So as you all know, those in nutrition, food and nutrition, and most of our listeners, they are aware that the food with nutrients that perform certain functions in our body. And like we all know, we have carbohydrates. There are various types. You have starch, sugars, others that are non-digestible like fiber, mainly cellulose. You have protein, which is for building the body. We have fat and oils. We have vitamins and minerals. And then we also have water. All these nutrients are found in various foods, and we are supposed to eat food that will give us enough amount of these nutrients in terms of both percentage and then in terms of quantity to enable us lead healthy lives. So if I may continue. Yeah. Okay, so what we are saying that the food we eat is supposed to provide a foundation for the structures and wholeness of every little cell that is present in our body. So you have the skin cells, you have the muscle cells, you have the bones, you have the digestive system, and then you have our immune system and various other systems in our bodies. And all these systems are made up of tiny together to form tissues. The tissues to form organs. The organs come together to form systems, and the systems as a whole come together to form the whole organism. And all these cells that are making the human being or the organism need good nutrients for them to be able to perform their functions well. So normally we may not feel it, but constantly our body is undergoing repairing, our body is undergoing healing, our body is undergoing rebuilding. Every cell in our body has, let me say, what you call a shelf. It means it's a certain number of days within which it lives, and then after that it dies. So the
dies or moving na yida
yeah, so this polished rice, for instance, it means that much of the cellulose, which is the fiber, has been removed. And when you add body because of digestion, now it leads to production of glucose at the end. And too much glucose in your blood may lead to that. So if you have the one brown rice, fiber no 100 into when you eat it and it goes into digestion still takes place, but because of the fiber, the sugar is slowly released into the blood. So it doesn't lead to sudden rise in the blood sugar level, for instance. And that one is very much healthy.
So these are the starchy foods. Right? Yes. It can have vitamins. So those are some of the things that we can eat.
Vitamins, minerals, fruits, vegetables, oranges. Orange, for instance, is very much rich in vitamin C. Fruits and vegetables in general, they are very rich in vitamins and minerals. So if you want to get enough vitamins and minerals to strengthen your immune system, then we are saying that fruits and vegetables with the fiber, especially for what is that the fruits and vegetables they contain a lot of sugar. Yeah. But if that is in, like I told you, the sugar released into the blood, so it doesn't lead to sudden increase in your blood sugar. So even if it is orange and you are taking the juice, eat the fiber inside it as well. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, we are saying that a diet which is high in processed food is low in nutrients and does not give the body much to work with. But if you have a clean, nutrient-rich whole food, very, very important for the body, and it's better and it's less susceptible to for premature aging. And what you are saying, because the nutrients are used to build our cells, if the nutrients we are getting they are not good enough, you build the cell, but the cell, instead of, like, for instance, I said red blood cell, for instance, should live about 4 months. You build the cell, but the cell may not last up to the 4 months if you are not having enough nutrients in your blood. So the red blood cell, for instance, is built with iron and is built with protein. So if you don't have food rich in iron and protein, you form red blood cells that do not work effectively, and they may die before the 4th month. And if you don't have enough red blood cells, for instance, in you, it leads to anemia, for instance. You become weak, you are not able to work effectively, and it affects productivity.
So as we are all looking at it, we are all working very hard and we need energy to work. Iron foods and then protein foods that will also help us. It's banana yeza, obama hen iron, obama hen protein. Obo boy hen yenya honzen. Ghanaians are very hard working people. And so we need energy to work. And we need the red blood cells to also work properly for us. And so what they hen blood cells no oye juma ye. Into our church.
See, iron, for instance, beta or rich in iron. That's good. And but you see, everything must be in moderation. Too much of everything is bad. Iron itself that we get from beef, for instance, that we say is very important to enable us form a lot of red blood cells. In food and nutrition, we have the various amounts that, depending on your body size, your gender, and then the type of work that you have various cutoff points for some of these nutrients. So iron, for instance, if you want get enough, if it's good, beans, legumes are good. If it is protein, for instance, it is advisable that you take the losses of protein. You don't take, for instance, beef and those things, they are also very much rich in fats. And that type of fat is called saturated fat. The saturated fat is not healthy for us. When you eat, those are the things that causes things like high blood pressure and other cardiovascular conditions. So as much as possible, you trim the fat off so that you can take it, and that one is very healthy when you want protein. But to avoid problems with fat, you can take legumes, for instance. Cowpea, very rich in protein, very rich in carbohydrate, very small amount of fat. Cowpea, you can get a 1.2% fat in it, and that's very good. If you take Bambara groundnut, maximum amount of fat will be between 7 to 8%, with a lot of protein, a lot of carbohydrate, which will be very good if you want protein. And I was talking about carbohydrates that we need to be careful, but the carbohydrate also gives us energy. So in everything, like I said, moderation and having a lot of, you take variety of food from various sources. So it's not that every day I'm taking something like maize, but today maize, the next time wheat, the next time, so that the nutrients that maize is not able to supply, another food source, for instance, will be able to supply it for you.
Thank you. You mentioned meat. Is it the only iron protein that we have? Because
iron source.
Iron source that we have. Because, and then I would also want to find out good for all ages, because you talked about body size and then the type of work that we do. Age want to see because to baby I know advice the men's needs.
Yes.
But here
especially as you are aging. Because of cardiovascular conditions.
Prof, my maybe so we can. Hey, sir.
Before you can because because it contains too much protein. When you eat it, puts stress on your kidney because the protein which is moved by your kidney. So if you have a lot of protein in you, then you are giving your kidney too much work to do. That one too can lead to kidney problems. So that's why you say you have various cutoff points. So moderation in everything you do. Gotcha.
All right. And see, if baby said that, I know in whom be here do be. The cook who dietitian and the cook acquire sabia. The way who they me here iron is the amazing balance lighting on your damage because we busy at one another bank one. If we are waiting for and you be waiting what other light be anymore.
Yes.
And no share economy now. Near this time, no quick fruit.
Yes.
Gary so could be better than tea.
Yes.
And one. Tea, baby said that. For me. It's I want you when you pay the most of the
Yes.
On 2 Mrs. Senator.
That is it.
And see, young corner one chair and there, you know, the membry in Yadamazi or in the Pedrinum.
Yes.
On no pone biana on your old age, you know. Mammy here, I brain to me. Also, damn economic was I mean, nobody man.
It's very, very necessary.
Okay.
Very, very necessary. Eating good food, and yes, so much about having money. You see, some of the things we have them in our environment, and sometimes we don't know. Saying up a pharmacy, you could fuma, you dear a bro, you dear banchi, you dear beans. These beans and those things that you want cutting and on counter, they are things that are very rich. They can supply us almost all the nutrients that we want. Into the little things in our environment now, Bob Wayne. Whatever nutrients we want to be able to mean, but everybody and his or her own nutrient requirement. It's called dietitian where the dietitian will be able to advise us appropriately. If you're a sportsman, your nutrient requirements will be different. If you are an adolescent lady who is menstruating, you may need more iron. If you're a young man, zinc is very, very important. So everybody, like I said, the gender, the your body size, all those things will affect how much nutrients you do. And a dietitian will properly advise you as to what to do. Now, before I met to remember a professor, now said the sources of iron,
okay,
or a beef in Kwan and a meat in Kwan. It's not, you see, all fruits and vegetables, they are very rich in minerals. Iron is a mineral, so you can get iron also from fruits and vegetables.
Okay, go to my chair.
Okay, into send na mekano. We have to eat in Myanmar main problems bebre. Into saturated fat, for instance, very, very problematic. And you get saturated fat from things like beef, things like margarine. In margarine, put there, it is worse. I'm not sure whether I'm even collapsing people's business, but in food and nutrition, yes, you will say vegetable fat that has been hydrogenated. Let me put it that way. Vegetable fat that has been, what it is that oil, and then we add hydrogen to it, and then we say we are hardening it. So when you add hydrogen to it, it changes from oil, and at room temperature, it becomes solid. So it has now changed from oil to fat. There is no much difference between the oil and fat, except the one is oil at room temperature, that's a solid at room temperature. But yeah, per se, no at room temperature, be solid. Na ye de other colorings, na some flavors, na they be the count, and that's what we do to produce products like margarine. In margarine, after making it hard and saturated, it's the fat. Some of the fat also changes into what you call trans fats. And both trans fats and saturated fat, they both are not good for the heart health. They may cause cardiovascular conditions. No many idea. And as much as possible, you need beans, or your farm, a brono, you polish it straight away. And mono, you don't polish it. Wheat, you don't polish it. So we must cut down on some of these pastry products with a lot of salt, a lot of sugar, with refined carbohydrates. Refined carbohydrates, ya pour huna, no. Those are the ones a main problem. And fruit and vegetables, legumes, seeds, straight from nature. Sana yanko pon bonye, but impede ye na yanka say yetime the sweetness and most of this sweetness in the end can lead to cancer. It is sweet, but ashas no kakra into womb, but in the long run, then you develop some of this cancer. And you need to be very, very careful and eat directly from nature. That is how in the olden days people were living, and they lived for so many years. I can give example, for instance, that me, when I was young, those days I was young, that you were not eating processed foods. People were growing and growing and growing to advanced ages. And you will not hear that somebody is suffering from stroke, somebody is suffering from kidney problems. But that's what is happening today. Young boys are suffering from stroke, kidney problem, all this. Most of them is due to the diet that we have been eating, because we are not eating well, you're not eating properly, we are not getting the right nutrients to fuel the cells in our body to work well, so our immune system is compromised.
So as you want to eat well,
Yes.
Maybe you are not a dietitian though,
Yes.
but then can you recommend well-balanced diet for us?
Yes.
In the morning, afternoon, evening, maybe brief one. That's able to me shadow. Na hensu yeza ashede daily. It's bana yeza oboboy hen ma yetum yenya honzan.
Balanced diet, the balanced diet for you will be different from balanced diet from me, like I told
really?
you. Oh yes, because gender alone, for instance, different. Apart from that, in terms of age-wise, all those things are fair. So we are saying that you define balanced diet that it is a diet that contains all the nutrients in their right proportions and their right quantities. What are the proportions? Proportions are percentages, normally, Rebecca said, a carbohydrate, for instance, it should be between 55 to 65%. If it is fatter, it should be between around 20 to 10%. Protein, for instance, should be between 15 to 20%, depending on the person's age, the person's, sometimes even the type of work that you do. Somebody who is involved in manual labor, supposed to do to take is different from a sedentary worker. For if unya eduane all these things all these nutrients then they must also be of enough quantity. It's a balanced diet at the end carbohydrate 50 to let's say 65%. Let's say we take it just 10 grams of carbohydrates and so that one doesn't make it balanced. You see, protein should be between 15 to 20%. Let's say we take it only 2 grams of protein, and so it is not balanced. You must eat enough that will be able to satisfy you. And so if you are considering all these nutrients, then you get food containing all this. You couldn't get one particular food that contains all these nutrients. And you have to be varying your food sources. And so make us say ABR. And there, for instance, midi oat. There are some nutrients the oats will provide, but it will not be able to provide all. Next time, midi wheat. Next time, midi rice. Next time, midi atokon. Next time, midi beans. Next time, you need to balance. You need to take variety of some of these things. With breakfast, for instance, wunya opano bia na wunya okosue bia in moderation na we take with tea bia to break your faster. That is fine. In the afternoon or mid-morning no ubetimi enya with snack bi. Snack no should not be those things like biscuits, and because those ones they are produced from refined carbohydrates, added salt, sugar, which is going to elevate your blood pressure and give you. When you have fruits and vegetables, when you have nuts, seeds, no many they will be there with snack. If you are able to take something that be heavy, kakra. And for instance, fish is very, very healthy, very, very important. There are fish, we have oil, your friend omega-3 fat.
Yeah.
That is very, very important. It's a healthy oil. Unlike saturated ones, some with many problems. When you fish to say mane, akwamuna, salmon, and those type of, they are very, very, they will give you the omega-3 fatty acids. When you heavy one been a wood in sana and no wape bibia no so and yet say nema make candidano. No too much salt, no too much fats. Yes, if we be the fatty, it should be from omega-3. For instance, olive oil, for instance, is a good source of omega-3. Say and nampono benya akwamuna, salmon, herrings, mackerel, sardine, those type of fish, they are very, so if your protein source is coming from fish, that is very, very important. It's much more healthy than protein source, for instance, from beef.
Okay.
Yes, because beef, saturated fat. Saturated fat is heart problems.
Okay.
And see, protein as much as possible, if you get it from legumes, fish, that's very, very good for you. Because even if there is legumes, for instance, like I've already said, they don't have so much fats. Most of, with the exception of something like soybean and groundnuts, which are rich in fats. Most of the legumes you have around, like cowpea, you get about 1.2% fat. Like Bambara groundnuts, about 7 to 8% fat.
Cowpea, no, which rem is saying? Because we have to cowpea.
Yeah, beans ya yedia. Be normal beans ya yedia. Yako drama and buy a channel way mono no ane cowpea. And
because we won't say at the fofro.
And ya the fofro. Na ba kumbi so e wo drama no so yede yan kwan flat ones be. They brought for the lima beans.
Okay.
Flat. Sometimes you wear white cry. Be so was a multicolored lima bean. They are all very healthy sources of protein.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can be on your berry fish, nature in your omega-3 oil. Now, sa oil yet on shop here.
Yeah, some
shops
yeah.
Yeah. Could be second to any boy, better fry to me. To be sitting a balanced diet.
Yes.
Yebenya, Anna make say, Adia no, and yes, say, and yet
fish and also, I will say, a BOI, fried, and I say, be a steam one. Dear one here.
Normally, no, grilling, boiling, that is very good because frying, no. Oh, frying, I just say you are adding even more fat as much as possible.
Yeah.
As you age, you must try to reduce the amount of fat.
Okay.
So as much as if you use boiling, that is better to reduce the fat.
Okay.
Yeah. And the fat na oil. You see, fat is not soluble in water. In see, we boil the omega-3 na fish na mundi still ubenya.
But yada sibebre na eka say nyina mente there about chicken zin. But chicken has become one of the largest source of
the consumer pan.
Yes. So far. All over programs it be ye chicken. But mente there about chicken is in.
Yeah.
Does that mean that chicken also has a problem?
Okay, so
chicken and
you're able to eat the chicken. So, according to experts, it's healthier than the beef and meat from other mammals. But what happens is the skin of the chicken is very rich in saturated fats, And see what happens, we are encouraged to remove the skin. And then when you remove the skin, it is okay for us to take the chicken. But the skin is rich in saturated fats, which I said
that's saying you don't know it.
It's not. And so say yare no bowa. I want to be who say, hey, any you catch me. Because me have seen people's conditions and it's not easy. They put you on drugs. You must take the drug at this time. Do this at this. It's not easy. So as much as possible, you try to avoid them. Ebedu baby no. Na fi dia akwakaye how dia amawo anyway busia for.
In order not to go into drugs, we need to eat healthy foods.
Yes, we need to eat healthy.
So that we become healthier.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it, baby. You also mentioned eco programs are who baby. We are served with flour products.
Yes.
Flour products.
Yes.
What's your recommendation? Because as university as well, we attend a lot of programs and we find so many of our snacks or what are served with us as all flour products
and carbonated drinks.
Carbonated drinks. So what's advice or recommendation can you give to the university community and even our listeners out there? Good sources of program food that can help us to maintain our healthiness.
Yeah, and say flour product, for instance, most of them, they are from polished. For instance, wheat flour. Most of them are from wheat flour, and the tin has been polished already before it was even turned into flour. And see, carbohydrates would be it is easily digested. You see, the part now remaining is called the digestible carbohydrate. Your enzymes are able to work on them and eventually turn them into glucose. In addition to that, flour product, glucose, if it's too much in your body, it can lead to diabetes.
Yeah.
The next one is that we are using saturated fats in the product. Most of them, they use margarine. And margarine is saturated fat. And I say it is oil. Oil, they add hydrogen. Yeah, they can now be saturated. And in terms of in the process of hardening it leads to production of other types of fat, which you call trans fats. And so margarine contains both trans fats as well as saturated fat. And both are not good for our health. So you are eating and sometimes sugar added. So the carbohydrate, if even it's in the form of starch, is eventually becoming sugar because starch will be broken down, eventually it becomes glucose. You have sugar, if the sugar is even sucrose, the sucrose is broken down eventually into glucose. So those ones, and then salt added, addition of salt and the fats, all are going to lead to elevated blood pressure, which is not good for your health. In addition to that, the sugar and carbohydrates, starch eventually is going to turn into glucose, which is also going to give you diabetes. And as much as so now your body is becoming weaker, now certain functions is not able to perform. And as much as possible, you should cut down on those types of food. They are not healthy. They are not healthy with salt, with sugar, with digestible carbohydrate, polished carbohydrate. They are not healthy.
What can you recommend?
And this carbonated beverages, it is also not. So instead of carbonated beverages, maybe fruit juice. Maybe fruit juice is better. Okay. Instead of some of these when local to say local you bet me and a browning ketia. I don't know why it should be wrong for us, for instance, to serve a browning ketia, for instance.
Oh, okay.
A browning, because that one, the tin has not been polished. It is the corn itself without polishing. Now they granite. How can you serve that one, for instance? We must respect what we have, our traditions, because ɔno na saa na Nyankopɔn de bɔ yɛyɛ kurom na aduane a yɛdi no adɛn nti na sisi a biribiara ɛyɛ western diet. Western diet ɛne yɛn honam ngye anti na ɛndɛ no yes western diet ɛne yɛn honam ngye nkɛ ɛndɛ yɛnya stroke yɛnya diabetes because me yɛ akwala no saa na ɛmɛ nyinaa no me na me hu bi but ɛndɛ wobɛhu young person with kidney problem young person it is most of them are coming from
like that.
Yeah. As I make I say if we are able to look at the things in our own environment, they are very healthy. We have moringa, all those ones. Let us utilize them and not be depending so much on foreign products. Yes, as now it will conserve foreign exchange. Now, exchange rates and it will reduce it to some point. For instance, there were some products be a country ha. Let me give something like dawa seeds. We call it locust bean seeds, for instance.
Okay.
Locust bean seeds, for instance, can give us oil, and the oil is rich. Yes, the oil is rich. It's very rich. It's a healthy oil, and if you should extract the oil from it, you are going to get between about 18 to 30% of oil. If, for instance, say soybean, for instance, the percent fat is around 17%, but people extract it, and because formerly you were not growing so much soybean, it is recently that it's becoming popular in Ghana. But formerly, from US, from other European countries, people extract the oil, they bring it here, and we are buying. But if you have something like dawa here, which can also supply enough amounts of oil, why don't you explore the possible uses of that oil? Even if in terms of edibility it's not good, we can use it for something like soap making, saponification. Yes, the oil, if it is not edible, you can use it for soap making, for instance, so that you can generate some income for ourselves. So if you have some money and you don't even have, if for instance you are working and then your money is not so much for you to be able to buy nutritious food, some of these things, side issues that you do, will give you some money so that you can buy the nutritious food for your children. For instance, I don't want to mention the place where I went to some village in Aguna West municipality. Mekwaya, for instance, that was the first time I saw kwashiorkor with my eyes. All along the day now, my kind books in the bed.
Picture no bet won't shut down. Yeah. Oh, okay.
They call Aguna West municipality.
And when the pages are there.
Aguna West. I won't mention the specific town in Aguna West. And they call and yes, you children suffering from kwashiorkor. It is not easy. Very miserable. Distended abdomen, sitting down with flies hovering around them, with some running nose, all those things. But they had some organization from outside.
NGO.
Yes, which were bringing them nutritious food so that the children will eat. And then, so the nurses, they take those things and then they give it to them. And then they go back to go and monitor. They teach the mothers how to prepare those, and then they go back and then they monitor. And after some time, you see that the child is recovered. And do you know what they use in making that food? It is just groundnuts. Groundnuts.
So groundnuts are good for the body.
Groundnuts,
and it's all over us.
And we have all these things here. At the end of the day, say groundnuts. One thing about groundnuts is that you see kwashiorkor, we classify it on the certain type. We call it protein energy malnutrition. So you are lacking protein, you are lacking energy. And groundnuts, what it does is that it is rich in carbohydrates, it is rich in protein, it is also rich in all these three things. Groundnut, for instance, you can get about those that are very rich, you can get between 30 to 50% oil. Protein maybe between 20 to 30%, substantial. Carbohydrate between 40 to 50%. So they are almost in equal amounts. So whether it is protein, it is in, whether it is carbohydrate, and the protein, carbohydrate, they are the ones that supply energy. So the energy that the child is lacking will be provided, and there's also protein. The protein that the child is lacking will also be provided. But we have groundnuts in our environment. Why can't we give it to our
granules.
children for the children to
Good.
be healthy. So all the things we are talking about, we have them in our environment. You don't need so much money to practice good eating healthy foods. Yeah.
All right. Okay. That's good. Nti menye abone say me blend kodu ene nkatie.
Some of the things, sometimes we have something called interaction between the various food components. Sometimes you really need to be sure that it is working for people before you also take it. Certain things be a combine and be poisonous.
Okay.
Until eventually be denonafi a more problem. So normally it is something people have tried and it's working, and then we human beings we can try. So for instance, in food and nutrition, we have animal studies. Okay. We try them on animals, and most of the time we use animals like rats, animals like mice. We try them on it, and then we see the effects on those animals. If it is positive, then it means that human beings too, we can do trials and see how it goes. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. And
because sometimes, because you don't know, gradually, gradual, then the poison is building up. For instance, if we have stored cereals, for instance, there is a type of mold we call Aspergillus flavus. It grows in the cereal. And as it grows, it produces a poison called aflatoxin.
Okay.
And so if you continuously eat cereal-based food, let's say stored for a very long time before they used to prepare food now, that aflatoxin eventually produces a toxin now. Eventually in life, it leads to cancer. But a gradual, but over a period of time. In moderation. We would do wake a crack. Don't focus so much on one thing and everything. Like me, for instance, I'm a Kenyan. The iron, it's a very rich source of iron, but that iron also in the beef eventually also causes cancer. That is it.
Wow.
We call it heme iron. Eventually,
you have to eat more in moderation.
In moderation, yes. It causes what we call colorectal cancer. Colorectal cancer is cancer of your large intestines and your rectum. Now, if there are a problem, in moderation. Don't eat too much of everything.
It's bad.
So in moderation, everything, and don't be lacking some of the nutrients also.
This is time with quality assurance. Thank you, Mr. Guy. Eshen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's bebre education exam hen. What we have to eat is the banana said the yeti no boy hen no say hen in pedien. In fact, I'm a yem who bebre. We have to eat in moderation. No, the yenye bia subi in kati wa me hu den kati ye papa into the ye in katare, but in moderation.
In moderation, especially for you, for instance, the oil in it may not be too much. For instance, you will be sometimes you're able to express the oil out of it, and you get the cake.
Okay.
So if you get the cake is now rich in protein, it's now rich in carbohydrates. The oil is not good for you, so you take the cake. That is okay. But for a child, for instance, oil is good because oil is going to supply the necessary energy for the child. There, depending on your age, your gender, your body size, that's why it is important to visit the dietitian. Dietitian being who condition or prescribe appropriate diet for you, which may not work for another person.
Martin Pachon, the quick romance and Madame de sign out for no. To say, young Brentia, yes, sure, in question, consul, for I then I very recommend dear man. If they say, did you late and routine at the bar, then depending did you late, none the phone, a cassia. I'm not sure you will club.
Yes, so what's
happening? I'm in my brother.
So
if
you eat more than your body requires, that the excess nutrients now are the body stores it in the form of fats.
Oh, okay.
they come as fat deposits in your body. That sort lead to people becoming overweight and obese.
Okay.
Hence, you will be boy a friend BMI, body mass index. You compare weight, to the square of your height. For instance, when you divide the weight by the square. Weight is measured in kilograms, and the square of your height is measured in meters square. You divide in anything below 18.5 now. You say we are underweight. It means that you are not eating well. You are undernourished. Then you have to do some changes in your food so that you can become well nourished. So we are between 18.5 to 24.99 now. Like I say, you are well nourished. You are normal. That is fine. Anything from 25 to 29.9, you better say you are overweight. Nature say, who did man no bro? Senior, essay would did essay because overweight. Nature say you are going into the unhealthy condition. Anything above 30, you better say we are obese. Into a one day now, say NCBA, who baby high blood pressure, who baby stroke conditions. Into excess, it means you are eating more than you are supposed to eat. Your body is not utilizing all the nutrient that is coming into you. So excess it stores it as fat. Now ama baye kasi. It's the amount your body will be able to use. Like your friend energy balance.
Okay.
Energy balance say if the amount of the amount of energy should be expended by me in my activities. I walk, my heart is beating, I'm talking, all the body organs are working. They are all using the energy from the food that you have eaten. But say would the say amount of energy na supply more than if it is more than the energy expenditure by your body, then the excess will be stored in the form of fat. That is what we because of the fat deposits. Sometimes to some people have genetic conditions. That one, it is not. You cannot do so much about it. If your genetics, that's like only the brain, so still that is how the genetics has made it. Obey the brain, so on your that. And also the genetic makeup. So all these things are affected by genetics and then our own lifestyle.
I am be full lines into an abaso. Until your name Kasawai. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, me pacha within the baby okasa free.
Okasa free.
Winnie ba me pacha you. And come aye the opesa with the 1 or 2 man will be someone pacha. Ubetimi akoso why within
Pacha wine.
Me see within your friend was saying. Upesa we wo di upesa okasa ye nensa mafuni adwuma wa. Dokan pacha yenko.
And say say energy expenditure no so if you are expending more energy than the amount of energy your body is supplying. Honestly, why you're underweight. And then what will happen is that your body, you see, our flesh, for instance, is protein. Okay. And protein is an energy supplier, for instance. If I'm not eating.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, me pacho dini baby okasa free.
Pacho, me friend Dorothy.
Dorothy, mommy Dorothy, me pacho you. Who was me bisa na yanko?
Pacho, let's run it around the morning.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if only me said it. And me can no pain. The national now, Yamaya no pain.
Okay.
I'm a messiah, because what they tell me. But I'm paying what the other some messiah more account.
Okay. Mati. Your Dorothy, you better say go to your fees because we the enka they watch our home. Hey, Dorothy, when you're no fool.
Okay, to say American. Okay. Protein, our body, our flesh is protein, for instance. If I'm eating and the food is not supplying my body with enough energy, what the body does in order to get enough energy is that because my flesh is protein, the body will now use my flesh to generate energy for its activities.
Okay.
So if the body is using my flesh, then I'll become emaciated. I'll be losing the muscles, and I will become skinny and eventually becomes underweight.
Okay.
Until too much, you become overweight. Less than the amounts you need, you become underweight. So you have to eat amount at least a year, almost amount of energy supply, almost the same amount of energy your body use. Then it means the energy is balanced. You will not always get it right. At least sometimes there will be a little less, sometimes it will be a bit low. But it should not be all the time more than hot, and it should not be all the time less than hot.
Ekutuo tablet ni ade nyina ba. And obe prefer say obeti and obeto ekutuo ano dan. Obuka kota de say any tablet. Vitamin C ni sa nyoma no. Say akaka bom ho advert ni ade ya radio for ya o. Ya no den.
Okay, so sometimes because of people's businesses, you need to be careful about some of the things. But like we say, I've always been saying, always from natural. I will prefer that one. I don't want artificially added things.
Okay.
Now the way I can, natural from nature. That is how God created us, and that is the best.
Yeah.
Doc, yeah, that's a brave. Me pede me bisa some corona yedi yen komozin yezi baby. Oye de anopa. Is we phone bottle hopan no eating indidi na chana bi ewiaber na atawu fufu. Sunday yete de bi ho a abrabone yezi.
Yes,
inti anopa o 1 plus 0 1 0. Another plus 1 plus 2 0.
Prof, as American. Or score line will be the bet. Me padi bi du coach bet.
Okay, so from S point of view, it will be a friend break fast. You are breaking the fast over for a long period of time, and agreeing I will die. During that time you were fasting. Into you have to break that fast. So breakfast is very important. When you have something light, so that your body will be fueled up for the day's activity, is very, very important. Normally, it is not advisable to say anapano mindidina me chayana ebia area and medidi. Those things also have their own problems. If we want to say oyare ulcer, for instance, it exacerbates the conditions. For other people to know what will happen, say ebia anapana on the dinupono ebama nipano radano obeye obesa ede obesity the brain. Yes, what happens is that then your body system is conditioned that at that time, always there is no food. Into activity about the cell, slow it down. Into slow it down, so they say, the body is not using it. Now, international air puts on more fat within it. For some people, that is what happens to them. Others, because of your condition, you have to be. So it's not healthy, and experts do not advise that. Break the fast. Mid-morning, get something. Afternoon, get some. Little, not so much. Eat and be okay. Don't overeat, and don't take something you feel that I'm not full. Also,
Thank you very much. It has been interesting on this talk, and we need to eat well to avoid all kinds of diseases. One thing that touched my heart is that let's eat the amount our body requires, or our body needs.
Yes.
And so this has been another edition on Time with Quality Assurance. Thank you so much. You are what we eat. Let us eat well to avoid taking medication as what we have to eat. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you didn't mention him, co-host.
This was Professor Ima Serishen, Deputy Director of Quality Assurance. We are here again to educate you on issues relating to our health. And I think we've been educated on what we have to eat. And I think it's been so interesting, and we've learned a lot. We will come again with another edition on Time with Quality Assurance. Thank you so much, and our listener out there, I hope we've all learned well. Thanks.